guys, so today's video is going to be a little bit different than most of the videos I've been making lately, but different in a good way because it's always nice to have some variety. But it's a super important one, and it's one that if you stick through to the end, I promise you, you will learn something that will be valuable to you at some point, or most likely even now, with some aspect in your professional life. So I'm going to be talking to you about how to land the job of your dreams, but not just how to do that. I'm going to take you from resume all the way to the end of your first 3 months and how to be successful. And this is something I'm good at because I have a reputation and a history for quite a varied work experience. I've worked in forensics, I worked in the emergency department as a registered nurse fresh out of university. That's unheard of. Nurses work on the floor for years before they get hired in emergency. I worked in forensics science and forensic nursing. I've worked with the police. I've worked with in mental health and the community. I've done so many different things. The job I'm doing now is, again, a much higher role and a higher title, and it's the most responsibility I've ever had, and I'm really proud of it and excited. But the way I've done that is I've, first of all, applied for jobs that I felt that I might not be qualified for. Ones that were my dream jobs, ones that I really wanted, that I thought I could do a good job at, but based on the qualifications listed, I wasn't necessarily qualified for. And I would never lie on a resume. I would never advise you to do that because they're going to find out and they're going to know. But what you can do is look at, there's tricks to doing the resume process properly. First of all, you want to look at the resume, the skills, and there's a big difference between the requirements and the skills that say, what do they usually say? They say required, or they say highly recommended, or even if they say required, like a lot of them will say required 5 years experience. Well, I've applied to jobs with 1 year of experience, and instead of lying and saying I have 5 years, which I don't, I explain, because a lot of them will say 5 years or equivalent. And even if it doesn't say equivalent, you're going to explain what you learned in that 1 year that makes you qualified to do that role as much as someone that's been doing it for 5 years. And how you're going to do that is you're going to do some investigating. If you don't think you have that knowledge already, you're going to ask around a little bit. Ask someone who's been there for 5 years and say, what have you learned between now and your first year? What is it that you've learned that has made the difference for you in your practice or in your job or in how you do your job or how you deal with management, how you deal with clients or customer service or your invoices or whatever it is your job or your title or your role is. And you're going to take that experience and you're going to think about how you would do it, and you would ask them, like, what challenges have you faced in these 5 years and how have you handled them? And then I want you to think about how you would handle those challenges. And those are your answers. Those are the things you're going to write in your cover letter. And you need to write an individual cover letter for every job you apply to. If you want that job, that cover letter has to be written for that job. So you're going to write in that cover letter that you may only have 1 year experience, and I wouldn't even necessarily write in the cover letter, I only have 1 year experience. I would write, I have been in this role doing this job, and these are the things I've learned. And you'll include those things. When I encounter challenges in my role, this is how I handle them. And that's because you already thought about, if you encountered those challenges that other employee told you they've faced in 5 years, how would you handle it? You're going to write that in your cover letter. If I encountered this challenges in my role with regards to this and that, I would handle it this way, or things to that degree. They want to know that you've acquired the skills and the knowledge base to be able to perform that task, to meet that job description. So understanding that job description, knowing what they're looking for, and tailoring your cover letter to highlight things that you've done that meet those elements in the job description is super important. The other thing is in the actual resume itself, when you are writing out descriptions, you write, I worked here from this date to this date. I worked here from this date to this date. In those descriptions, you're going to choose the way you describe it that highlights things in the job description, highlights some of the same tasks that are necessary and highlighted in the job description for that role. So they know that you have experience with that and you've done it before. You've done it in multiple roles, in multiple environments, in multiple circumstances, dealing with different people, different staff, and different cultures, different backgrounds, and you just have a varied experience, and that just broadens your knowledge base and shows them that you may not have that 5 years experience that they're looking for, but you certainly have those qualifications, and you have the EQ, being the emotional quotient, to be able to manage these skills because you've thought in these problems, because you've thought them through, and you can learn these tasks, and you're capable of accomplishing what you need to fulfill that job description. So second step is your phone screening. This has to be high energy. They're going to call you. It's going to be at the worst time possible. They're going to say, do you have a few minutes? We just want to talk about this job quickly. And they're going to decide whether to move forward with an interview. And you're going to pull your car over and say, yes, absolutely, I have 5 minutes. And you're going to pull over and get excited, get energized, and tell them, oh my goodness, I am so grateful to hear from you. I was really looking forward to your call. And you're gonna have high energy and sell yourself here. This is the opportunity to sell yourself. And if they say something, ask you a specific question of a skill that you don't have, you're going to redirect with the skills that you do have that compensate for that. Such as if they say, what would you do in this situation? And you don't know the answer, you're going to say, these are the steps I would take to find the answers so I could make the right decision and take the right action. And that's how you're going to handle that sort of question. And these screening calls are usually yes or no, really quick, to see if you meet job requirements. And it's just an opportunity for you to reinforce that even if you're missing a job requirement, you do have that equivalent knowledge and experience. And you got to do it quickly, you've got to do it eloquently, and you need to be able to do it in 1 or 2 sentences because you don't have time with a screening call. So you need to prepare yourself with these things ahead of time. You look at the job description, you look at what they're asking for, certain things that you don't have, so you know when they get to that question, you have an answer and you have it prepared, you have it memorized, it's in the back of your head, it's on the tip of your tongue, it's ready to go, and you can answer it naturally and calmly, and you can do it in an eloquent and efficient and effective manner and make it sound natural. So that's how you do that. And all you're doing is you are highlighting your best skills. You're not lying, you're not being dishonest, you're highlighting the skills that make you qualified and make you feel that you'll be good at this job. And that's really what the purpose of these things, these screening calls and interviews are. So you get to the interview phase. This is the biggest one. You want to show up early. You want to dress professionally, of course. You want to be the first to smile. I'm always the first to reach out and shake hands. And I know COVID changed that a little bit, but so I'm never sure what to do in that situation, but I'm the first to stand up. I approach the individuals as I see them walking towards me, and I say, hi, are you this and this person? I'm Deirdre. I'm your interview for 2:30. It's so nice to meet you. I'm really excited to be here. And you approach it with exuberance and confidence, and like you are meant to be there, and they are like lucky to have you there because you're so excited and you're so grateful for this opportunity. And I always leave by saying thank you so much for the opportunity to be interviewed today. I really do appreciate it, and I feel really honored that I was even given this chance because I value your company and your organization. I value the things you stand for, and I really want to be a part of it. So I really want to thank you. So have a lovely day. And that's how you close. But in between, you are going to be honest, never lie again. Honest about your weaknesses. When they ask you, what is your weakness? What would, if there's one thing that you're not good at or you need to change, what would it be? I would say the best answer is the area in my practice, because I'm in healthcare, or the area in my professional practice that I would most like to develop, to further develop, would be this, this, and this is why. This is how it's impacted me in the past. So I'll give you an example. In my last interview, I said I have a difficulty with setting boundaries. Sometimes I take my work home with me and it impacts my work-life balance, and that's not healthy because I don't come to work refreshed sometimes. I don't come in with a clear mind. Sometimes I'm carrying stress and worry from the day before, and that's something I need to be mindful of and I need to work on. That is something that's not a strength for me, and it's something I'm constantly aware of. So that was honest, it was the truth, but it shows that I'm aware of it, I'm mindful of it, and I have a plan of action because I know how it impacts me negatively on the job, and I know how I can do better if I improve in that area. So it's going to be important to convey that. The other thing is prepare for these interviews. You want to know the job description inside out, so you can include when you're describing. They're going to say, tell me a bit about yourself, and you're going to tell them about yourself, and you're going to include those characteristics that you know about yourself that are in line with that job description. Like when it says they need somebody that's really organized, they need somebody that's really efficient, somebody who can multitask. You're going to say, I like a busy work environment. I'm really good at handling multiple things because I'm good at that, because I'm really good at time management. And you'll give them examples such as that. Like, time management is a strength for me, so I'm really organized because of that. You're going to be prepared in that manner. You're going to think of examples. Make sure you have examples for things to give, solid examples. That's going to be very impressive to them because that's facts. You're presenting facts to them, not just suggestions, right? And the next one is you need to know, I can't stress this enough, the mission, the vision, and the values, and you need to incorporate those into your answers. So if a mission statement is that they want to be the best in their field and be known as the highest or the most professional in their field, you're going to say, I really, when they talk about your strengths, you're going to say, one of my strengths is every day I try to do my very best and be better than I was the day before, because every day is my opportunity to be the very best in my field. Done. You've included one of their vision statements or their mission statements or their values into your answer. So you're already embodying what they envision for their organization, and you're actually looking like a perfect representation of what they want their organization to reflect as to the public and internally as well to other staff, because your attitude, your practice, your professionalism is contagious. People make friends, they make bonds, they make connections, and everybody lifts each other up. People will raise to the level of the crowd they're with. So the more professional, the more appropriate a fit you are for the organization, the better the staff around you are going to do. And that's the most important thing I can really impress upon you, is to really use these opportunities to demonstrate why you're a good fit. So pull on your personal characteristics and line them up with that job description. That job description is your course outline. That's your course outline. And everyone who's been in school knows, if you follow that rubric and that course outline or that essay outline, you're going to get an A if you present everything that's in that outline. And it's the same with the job description and qualifications as it is with a rubric for an essay. So don't forget that. And last but not least is your first 3 months. So your first 3 months, oh no, there's actually more. If you don't hear back after that, if they say you'll hear from me by the end of the week or you'll hear from me by the end of next week and you don't hear back, give it a day, give it 2 days. After 2 days, call the person who interviewed you. They'll give you their card and say, if you have any questions, you can call me before the interview's done. If they don't before the interview's done and they ask if you have any questions, I would make sure you have a few questions prepared, such as, who's the primary population that our organization serves? What are our biggest challenges as, in whatever capacity. Like, these are good questions. And the third question it would be is, if I have any questions afterwards that I haven't thought of now, because, you know, I'm a little nervous, I really want this job, so I'm not gonna lie, I have been a little nervous, but if I do come up with any questions, is there anybody I can contact for information? And you're gonna get your contact information. So if you don't hear back, and you give it a few days after their deadline that they said you'd hear back by, then you call that contact and you say, listen, I was really nervous during that interview, and I've reflected on some of the questions that you asked me and we've talked about, and I feel like I could have answered better. I had thoughts after I left and things that I really wish I'd said and included that really were important and really would have answered my questions more clearly. Do I have any opportunity for another interview? And all that does is demonstrate how badly you want this position. And say, and tell them, say, because I want this job so badly, I see myself as such a great fit for this role and for this organization, and I don't want my nervousness to get in the way of my opportunity to really demonstrate that I'm a great fit and that you'd be pleased with my performance, and more than pleased, because I will excel in this role. So that's how you're going to portray it, and guarantee you, you will get a call back. And when you do, you've got 3 months to show them that you're the one, because within 3 months, they can get rid of you if you're not the one. So my advice to you is to keep that job description nice and handy, right on your desktop, right on your home screen of your phone, whatever you need to do. Keep the job description and make sure you are demonstrating that job description. Make sure you're doing everything you can, learning as much as you can. Evenings, weekends, after hours, do whatever you need to do to be able to understand your job, your description, so you have good questions. And ask questions. Ask them. Asking questions means you're interested in doing better, in doing the full capacity of the position, and jumping right in with 2 feet and not taking forever to orient. The other thing is to go ahead of it. Take some initiative. Don't do things that are going to overstep your boundaries or go over anybody's head. Make sure that you're not doing that. But if you have a job description and part of that is use of a database, and you've been taught how to do a few things on that database, use your time off work to go through that database, play on it a little bit, investigate it, Google it, look it up on YouTube, look up tricks and tips on how to use that database. And when you do touch points with your boss, which you will do within the first 3 months, because that's the law, they have to give you feedback and they have to tell you how you're doing prior to letting you go at the end of 3 months and saying you're a good fit or you're not, then you're going to utilize those opportunities to bring up and say, you know, I did this online course, or I was doing some research on this database and I have some questions. What can we talk about it? Do you have a few minutes? Or I have some concerns about how it doesn't fall in line with what I've learned already. Things like that. So it looks like you have initiative, you're engaged, you're paying attention, you have questions, you want to do things right, you want to do things by the book, and you want to adhere to policies and procedures, which is very important, and it's very important for legal, and it's very important for the professionalism of the organization overall. So there it is, guys. I hope I wrapped it up. Rewind it, watch it again if you need to, because I know I spoke quickly, but it's super important information and it will really help. And for those of you who stuck around till the end, thank you so much. It really helps me out. Leave me a comment, give me a thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel. And I will upload videos regularly like I do. So I will see everyone soon. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.